Welcome to Nurse Burnout Solutions, the show that empowers you to beat stress, reclaim your energy, and discover lasting fulfillment in your nursing career. I'm your host, Betty McLean. I'm a nurse with over 20 years of experience, and I'm also a certified life and certified burnout coach. I'm here to share expert insights with you, a lot of practical tools, and some inspiring stories. So join me as we navigate the challenges of a career in healthcare, and I help you find renewed purpose and resiliency, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the podcast. So, in this episode, I want to talk with you about the most valuable person in your life and who that is and how you can best show up for them. So, just going to say it as a parent. When I say who's the most important person in your life, you might think of your children. As a spouse, when I say who is the most important person in your life, you might think, well, my life partner. A lot of people are very important to us, right? As a human, it is a joy. It's paramount to our survival that we form beautiful, wonderful connections with other humans. But the most important person in your life is actually you. Shocking, I know. But bear with me, okay? So there is one human that is going to be with you your entire life. From the time you are born to the time you die, you are with you. Your parents will not be with you your entire life, generally speaking. Your children will not be with you your entire life. Your life partner will not be with you your entire life. But you are there from the time you are born, before you are even conscious, to the time that you move on to whatever's next after this life, right? And I think this is a really beautiful thing. It does not mean that you need to become a narcissist, right? It does not mean that you don't need to form other really strong, important connections with other people. And it definitely doesn't mean that the people that you love are not important. The reason that I like to think about myself and the reason I like to have my clients think about themselves as the most important person is because when we think about taking care of ourselves, when we think about supporting ourselves through tough decisions or healing from past trauma, when we think about taking excellent care of ourselves, there is, for a lot of people, this little voice that's kind of been taught to us that says, well, you shouldn't spend that much time on yourself because you need to be there for other people. You need to be there for your kids. You shouldn't spend money on yourself for therapy because you should spend that on your kids. You shouldn't take a vacation by yourself, even though you are overwhelmed with stimulation, because that's not what people with spouses do, right? There's this idea that since you are a part of society, that you treat everyone else as more important. I understand where that comes from. The idea that we put others before ourselves. You've probably been taught that. Like, I know the way that I was raised, most religions teach, that other people are more important than you. And in a sense, I 100% agree with that. But when it comes to being a nurse, when it comes to being someone who is in a high stress profession, a helping profession, honestly, though, really, anyone can benefit from this slight shift in mentality. It is the idea that you need to take care of yourself first so that you then can care for others with excellence. Okay. It's the whole concept of put your own oxygen mask on before you help those around you, right? And when we understand that we are the most important person in our life, It becomes easier to prioritize getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, seeking out mental health care, right? Seeking out physical health care rather than putting it on the back burner and saying, well, yeah, I am having a lot of back pain, but I just don't have time because I'm taking care of the kids. Or, yeah, I really should go see a therapist, but I can't take the time off work, right? When in reality, we should shift that paradigm. Really, we should be saying, I need to go see someone about my back pain. I need to go see someone about my mental health because I want to show up for my children in the best way I can. Because I want to show up at work well and centered and balanced and not under a ton of stress that I don't know how to manage. Right? Do you understand the shift that I'm asking you to make? Like, it really is when you are the most important person, you can then show up for others in such a more empowered way. Not that you are better than them, not that they are not equally important and worthy of value and love and attention and all the good things, right? It's that when you are important, when you know that you are the person that has to be with you for the rest of your life, and you start prioritizing yourself, it empowers you to show up for others healed, whole, and with all of your heart. You are important and you are worthy of care. And when you're taking excellent care of yourself, you show up better for others. One way that this shows up, this I'm not as important as other people programming shows up often for my clients is in the way they talk about themselves to themselves. So let's talk about that a little bit because self-care, I think as a society, we're starting to understand that in order to show up well for my family, in order to show up well for my boss, I need to sleep well, eat well, drink plenty of water, take care of my physical self. And I need to learn how to manage stress. And, if I'm dealing with depression, I need to seek mental health for that. Okay. But there's another more subtle way that this shows up, this idea that other people are more important than me. And it shows up in the way that we talk to ourselves. I see this. I see this in myself, but I see this a lot in my clients who have not done any life coaching or therapy or any kind of mental work. It's this idea that I'm going to tell myself how bad I did today. I'm going to talk down to myself. I'm going to criticize myself. I'm going to talk to myself as if I were some naughty child who doesn't know right from wrong. And I'm going to just lay into them so that they'll do better next time. This is probably the one of the worst things that you can do for yourself. You are internally telling yourself you are not valuable, you are not an important person, and you are not worthy of getting better, stronger, achieving more, achieving balance. When we talk to ourselves as if we are bad or wrong, not good enough, the brain hears that and believes it. Okay. So, so bear with me here. If you are someone who speaks poorly to yourself, speaks meanly to yourself, criticizes yourself, or even uses that like I'm just really hard on myself. I'm like that tough coach. I'm always after myself to do better, be better, right? The subconscious part of our brain does not understand that that's not true. Okay. So when you're saying you're not good enough, look at how you messed that up. You're so lazy. I can't believe you said that or did that. The subconscious believes that. And unfortunately, it's like when you see these little dogs who have been abused and somebody raises their voice at them, they cower, right? Your subconscious self ends up doing that. The longer you talk poorly to yourself, the more it believes that that's true. And when you get to that point where you believe that's true, that you are not important, you will start showing up in a way that is disempowered. This is normal human behavior. You haven't done anything wrong or abnormal if this is you, okay? But just know that you cannot hate yourself to a loving place. You've probably heard the adage, you can't hate yourself thin. You can't hate yourself happy either. That's not how neurology, that's not how psychology works. That's not how humans work. When you start to think of yourself as the most valuable person in your life, you will start to show up with more power, with more balance. You'll feel more calm. You will show up in a way that is supportive of yourself. So when you don't show up the way you want to, say you say a mean thing or you don't do the thing that you wanted to do, rather than beating yourself up, you'll go, oh, yeah, I messed up there. Let me see what I can change and maybe do better next time. Maybe I need to apologize. Maybe I need to try a different approach, right? When you think of yourself as important and having worth, rather than beating yourself up, you're going to start looking for opportunities to get better. It's a major mind shift and it can be difficult to do on your own. So if this is you, if this is what you struggle with, please reach out to me. We can book a call and we can just talk through whether coaching is appropriate for you. If you have worked with a therapist, reach back out to the therapist, right? If you have a hard time prioritizing yourself over others' needs, if you have a hard time speaking to yourself with kindness, this is a huge area where you can make major changes in your life relatively easily. Okay. It's not easy, but it is simple. And with the right guidance, you can drastically change how you go about your day to day. So, thinking about yourself as the most valuable person in your life, as if you start to shift that, it starts with noticing, notice where you're talking to yourself as if you are not important and just start to question that. But really, getting a coach or getting a therapist who can walk with you through this, you will make tremendous change in a relatively quick amount of time if you can learn to think of yourself as important, as the most important person. I hope that this is encouraging to you. Just know that if you do not think that you are the most important person in your life, you are perfectly normal and you don't have to stay there. You can learn to be so powerful and so important. And the beautiful thing is when you get to that place where you understand that you are powerful and you are important, you're going to show up in the lives of your kids, in the lives of your partner, in the lives of your boss and your coworkers in such a beautiful way that's going to help them feel loved and important and valued. So do it for yourself and do it for the people around you. I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening today to Nurse Burnout Solutions. Remember, I really believe that all stress is manageable and burnout is not inevitable. If you are struggling with stress or in burnout, I can help. Check out the show notes for ways that we can connect and get you the support that you deserve.